I do. I have a
Yes.
question related to how can we address, for example, if I'm at the chair of the board and I want to talk about something related of these meetings with the mayor, if it's possible to do it, how
Yes, with the
can we talk
mayor,
about that?
because the mayor can't talk to the vice mayor, but the mayor can talk to you because you're not on the same board as the mayor. The mayor's not a member of your committee, so the mayor can talk to you
Okay,
because the mayor won't be voting on anything that your committee would be voting on.
okay,
Understood.
thank you.
So yes, mayor, no problem. Vice mayor, no problem. Just don't talk to the mayor and vice mayor at the same time because then you're putting them in violation.
Okay.
Any other questions? Let me just add that if you ever do have a question and you're not sure, don't assume, check. Talk to the clerk, talk to the committee liaison, or reach out to me. I'm happy to answer your questions to keep you out of trouble. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions at this time from any committee about your legal obligations, keep your documents, don't throw anything out. File your financial disclosure when it's due, and don't violate the Sunshine Law by talking to one of your fellow board members about something that is the business or related to the business of the committee. You do that, and you have no problems at all, and we're grateful for your service. Thank you very
Excuse
much.
me, I just remember just one thing, and this is related of what we can publish or not in social media related to the decisions that this committee
I would
takes.
avoid social media. Social media, certain people are, in your friend group, certain social media is still evolving. It's a can of worms. If you want to put something in the newspaper or the local paper or the community newspaper, those things are okay. But avoid social media. Let the town professionals put anything that needs to be in social media because they know what they're doing. Try to avoid posting the stuff on social media. It's just a can of worms.
Okay. There's a question in
Thank you
here.
all very much and have a pleasant
There's,
evening. Thank you for attending tonight.
Mr.
We
Geller,
appreciate you.
there's another question from one of the people that is in here. You go ahead. Can you hear her?
No, not really,
Okay,
but
you need to talk on the
now,
microphone in
try
there.
now. Go ahead.
On these committee meetings, the secretary, now that it's not Yvonne and it's Mariana, do we, each time they come to a meeting, those minutes have to be approved? Does she know that?
I don't know if she knows it, but yes, the minutes must be kept to the meeting. That is an obligation. And at the next meeting or the one after that or something like that, the minutes have to be voted on to be approved. That's correct.
So she has to be prepared to come to the meeting with the minutes for them to approve.
Or send them to the clerk to present if you're going to be absent.
Okay, thank you.
I'll work in conjunction with the committee secretary to ensure that the minutes are prepared and produced.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay?
And, if the board, if it's the decision of the committee that the town clerk does the minutes, that's also acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
understood.
So thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
It's my pleasure. Anytime if you have more questions, remember, you can always get a hold of me, the clerk, or the committee liaison. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much. The committee liaison is going to be you, right, Yvonne?
Excuse me?
Who is going to be the committee liaison? You, sir?
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice to know that.
Wait.
Yeah. So we are going to discuss the second. How does it work?
Raise the line item up, and then
Yeah.
I'll introduce myself, and then you.
Okay, so I'm just
You're
new
going
on
to
this.
introduce
It's just I'm learning today.
the
It's
staff,
like,
you're
how
going to
does it work?
introduce the staff liaison?
Okay, so I will introduce the staff liaison,
Joel Jacoby.
Joe Jacoby.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joel
Thank you.
Jacoby. I'm your, oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a mic. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Jacoby. I am currently your Bay Harbor Islands Educational Programs and Community Service Director. I will be your staff liaison between the committee and the town. So where information needs to go back and forth and whatever information you're confused about regarding programming and the community services, I am here.
So I have a question
Of course.
related to that.
Shoot.
So we discuss things in here, like everything, we vote things and all of that, and then you will go with those resolutions to the
council,
city
correct.
council.
Correct.
So you will discuss with them. If there's any feedback, you will come back with that?
Correct.
Okay, so,
All right, exactly. Whatever you guys come to, whatever you want me to ask the council or discussions with the council, I go to them, and then whatever their comments they have coming back, I represent both sides for you.
okay, do we have the capacity to go ourselves to the city council?
I would like for you to come up with some important items that we can discuss, vote on, so we can take it to the council to be sure that it's done.
Good, yes, go ahead.
Okay, the committee is advisory to the town council. So items on the agenda, whether they're recommended by staff or by the committee itself, the board would vote to recommend action to the town council.
Okay.
We'll then take the information to the town council, and either the chair or a designee of the committee can attend the meeting to represent the committee on those items.
Okay, so you will go and you will represent, on those meetings on the city council, you will represent us?
A member of the board or a designee by the chairperson.
Okay, okay, good,
Usually it's the chair of the committee,
okay,
and if you're unable to, the vice chair.
okay,
Okay.
I'll be there for you too.
good, thank you. Just trying to learn the rules. Thank you, Karen.
Okay, so we need to discuss some of the things we would like on the next agenda that is important to us for the people in the town, whether very young or old like me. But I'm really more interested in the young children, that they get a fair shake in this town.
Yeah.
So do you, as a parent, how old are your children?
She's 6.
Okay, what do you feel is important for your young person? I know how I felt when I had children growing up here, and it is very important that our children learn at their young age how fantastic this town is and how we as adults consider them and what's important to them.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And I think that that's one of the things that we all want to discuss in here. One, how the spaces for our children in the city. So I don't know if we go to the fourth point and we start discussing the items for the next agenda and we just put it in there and then
What is important to you for your child that you would like to see on the next agenda?
Well, I would like
For
to.
all children, not just your child.
One of the things that I would like to check is on the construction of the park that is in front of the water, the kayak park, and how that will be aligned with the renovations of the park in the 98th Street. So I put that in the agenda.
Will there be somebody at all times, an adult at the park, to oversee the children so that one doesn't take advantage of the other?
So relating to the waterfront park project, what I would recommend first is if we as a committee can have any kind of status update documentations, if there's an existing plan as to what the park design is, if there's a production schedule. I think before any formal recommendations, we should just have an understanding as to what is it, what are the obligations regarding that. I think from there, just to put some topics for us as sub items, would be how do we think this park should operate? For example, is it gated? Is it fob accessed? Do people get issued keys? Is it a water launching park where a person with a kayak or a paddleboard can launch from? Is it just for sitting? So any information regarding this park, I think that that's the most pressing thing for this, one of the most pressing things for this committee to understand.
So at that point, we will ask Joel, as our liaison, if you can find that kind of information for us to have, so we can discuss in the next agenda and have just a real conversation and discuss it.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. So is there anything else that we want to discuss apart from that for the next agenda?
Also, I would say we need to be aware about the budget we have
Yeah.
assigned for this year.
Yeah.
So in terms of budget, there is
And-
anything we can do in terms of improvement to the parks and recreations, or we need just to looking forward to next year
Yeah.
Yeah,
budget.
Budget.
I think that's a great topic. One thing I would recommend for consideration or at least discussion is even something around, do we want to plan specific dates for these meetings?
Yeah.
According to the documentation, the obligation, the expectation is to meet quarterly. The way that it's stipulated, the chair can designate these meetings. A recommendation, I think, for conversation would be, do we just want to, in advance, have an understanding as to what these dates are so we can plan accordingly for
Agree.
that?
I agree
Agree.
too. And one of the things that I was thinking is like, if we really want to have an impact, instead of meeting like once quarterly, like do it monthly. So we
Yes,
can
I
just get
agree.
together once in a month. If we see that it has to be a little bit more, we can just get together and think about, hey, maybe this month we have to meet twice. And so
Right,
that
no,
way we
I-
can have an impact
Right, I
on
agree.
the recommendations that we have for the city.
I think maybe if we could talk about a fundraiser that would include adults, I think it would be nice if we
Yeah.
had money to spend for events and things that
Yeah.
we need, as you said. Uh, So I think if we can have that on the next agenda, discussing fundraisers that we may be able to do in the town to raise money to promote the things that we need in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and I second that. And one of the things that I would like personally to understand better is how is managed that budget. So what goes where, and like because I see that there's a lot of good initiatives for seniors that my mom loves very much. So I don't want to take them out or just like, but we need to have other stuff for other, demographics. So it will be important for us, and Joel, if you can help us with that, just trying to understand how that budgeting is currently working in the city and the impact that we can have on that or not.
Yeah, currently we are working on budgeting now. Next week we have meetings with the manager to go over certain item specifications.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully soon we'll have an idea where allocations are going to go
Okay.
for programming and activities and all the good stuff
But I
that
guess
this
for-
committee needs.
But I guess for 2026 or for 2025?
It'll be for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Joel, but whatever we decide has to go before the council.
Correct.
And then the council has to agree or disagree before we can go forward with anything that we decide. So I think that's important for us to realize.
Yeah, and one of the things, because I'm thinking if you are working on the budget currently and if we want to have an impact on that, we need to know it as soon as possible. So it's like it's something that Because if not, we will have to wait until 2027 if we want to have. So now is the best moment to have that information.
Don't forget, your liaison's the director of community services. So that, have hands-on on that.
Okay.
One thing I would, relating to this, that I would like is if there's, regarding programming, if we can have any visibility as to the programming that is currently planned, and if we can have a conversation as to how to best handle new program requests.
Absolutely.
That sounds great. And I don't know if we want to give a timeline for that, because I don't know. And that is one point. When will be our next meeting? So we have an idea, so to have that as soon as possible. I know that we're all busy people, but that will be good to have, the next meeting as soon as we
Ideas.
can. That
The
maybe
idea
next week.
meeting.
Maybe next week. So if you can have that information for us for the next week, it will be good. I don't know who's, I will put there, so I don't
I
know.
think they are meeting next week.
Your meeting next week?
We're meeting with the manager next week to
Yeah,
go over
so-
budget.
Maybe 2 weeks from now.
But if they meet first for the budget, we won't have any word on anything. You know what I mean? So it's better that we meet before they meet, so we have ideas and we can give them ideas on how to do certain things in the budget.
But my question is, they decide about the budget or about the initiatives? Because if they just decide about the entire budget is a thing.
The
if
budget,
they
they're just setting
Yeah.
aside a budget
are, yeah, yeah.
for
so it's
it.
about how much
And-
money?
So you are not allocating stuff, you're talking about,
What?
so do you do allocate? I remember when I used to work in this area, that when you talk budget, you just put things in there and you cannot move from there afterwards. So that's why I'm thinking that it might be good for us to know before you meet with the people, and so we can say, hey, we have this amazing idea. Why don't you put the money in this point instead of that other one?
Yeah, if that's a
Just-
discussion, yes. Because
Yeah.
if not, so there is nothing we can do.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you guys would have to hold a meeting and have that discussion in a public forum.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
remember, you have to be at the council meeting to make the presentation from our group.
Yeah.
And be sure that they agree
Yeah.
to it.
Well,
Because
the
they'll take
idea-
a vote.
yeah.
I know, but it's important we do it in a way that they agree.
I don't know. I don't know if you agree, if you want to. When are you meeting, Joe, with
I think I'm meeting next Friday.
Because if we could do, and I don't know if there's any possibility for us to do this meeting next week, I don't know, on a Wednesday or on a Tuesday. so
Right,
we
do
can
you have
just
enough
talk.
time to get the information out to the group and do everything in just 1 week?
It's a budget process. His meeting with the
Right.
town manager is an initial meeting.
Yeah.
Right,
What I would suggest, like you mentioned before, is to have a meeting, because the budget as prepared now, it has line item for the various events.
Mm-hmm.
So once you meet and you have new initiatives, you present them to the council, and then we take it from
So
there.
you think that we should just meet next week?
let,
Before
I
they
wouldn't
meet.
suggest next week.
let the office decide when we can have it that is appropriate for the office.
And that we have an
and for their
impact?
staff,
Because
right.
what the most important thing is that we have that impact.
So, a couple of things just from, to the best of my recollection of this process. So, first and foremost, I do believe the budget takes them quite some time.
Yeah.
In terms of the allocation of it, just like again, quick overview or refresh from my side. You have millage, which is the collection of taxes from property. That tells you the total sums, and then it's essentially just like a percentage breakdown that they usually typically apply year over year. So I think for us, the most important thing to figure out is going to be what types of programs do we want to recommend.
Yeah.
And then from that, I would say if we have a timely meeting, we'll probably be able to make that recommendation, and they can cross-reference. But I also think it's going to be important at that point to look at what's already in the pipeline
Yeah.
versus what we want to decide net new for that. And I think with that, planning a meeting let's say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, probably gives a little bit of time for the administration to kind of figure out some initial numbers. It gives us some time to kind of figure out some ideas as well.
Sounds good.
And I think it's important for the next council meeting
It's on Wednesday.
that you have something for the children and something for the adults to present so that we can get started on goodies from this group.
Yeah. One of the things because if it is next Wednesday is the city council meeting, it's like just now, just like
Well, but then it
on the
meets once a
14th.
month.
So it's not
right.
this Wednesday. It's like
No, the following.
the other
Yeah.
on the 14th. Okay.
And it has to be, you have to have time to be able to put it on the agenda for the council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have to be there to make the presentation.
Yeah. Well, I'm not here on the 14th. Yeah, but I won't be on. I'm traveling on the
I think
14th.
he can present
So
it
you
as
will
well.
present it.
The town council budget workshop is scheduled for June 11th.
Okay, okay, that's important. So, yeah, we could do it. We could do like the meeting before the city council. Like if it is in 2 weeks, on Wednesday, we could meet on Tuesday before, so we can have an idea of the of the
Right, what
proposals
you're
or
going
things
to
that we want to
present.
talk.
Right.
What you're going to present because I won't be able to be here. But yeah, I think that it could be a good thing. What is the date that day? It's on the 4th. Is it 13th?
Wednesday.
Let's see.
When is it, next Tuesday?
Calendar.
You'll
No, I
you'll
think it's
send out the
7.
date and the information to
From
all of
May.
us?
So on the 14th is Wednesday. So it will be on the 13th.
Can we have it on
Tuesday, 13th?
Thursday so we
Wednesday.
don't have back-to-back meetings?
What was that?
Would the Thursday work so we don't have back-to-back meetings?
Thursday.
Thursday, the
Well,
15th?
wait, we can't,
The
we
15th,
can't
after?
have it on Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is on the
The 4th?
11th.
Oh, I thought it was the 4th.
It's
So
on the
you want to
11th.
present to the council on the 14th?
Well, the idea was to talk to the council and to meet before they meet in order to have something to present them, right?
So just some kind of thinking around this. The first thing I think is the most we can have thought through recommendations, I think is going to be the most ideal thing. In terms, if we're working back from their workshop for finalization of the budget, which in and of itself, I would imagine is not like the end-all be-all limiting our capabilities. I would say if we were to meet, as an example, around the 15th of May, in that meeting, what would probably be beneficial is a discussion on potential items. In that same meeting, if we have an understanding of what's in the pipeline, I think we can then have kind of an informed discussion around what is currently being planned, and then out of the new ideas, what would we make a formal recommendation to add into that?
Right.
Then from there, I think it gives us enough time to then present back to say, we have a recommendation of these additional items, and then they could factor that into the budget.
Okay. So, and when is the next one, like the next meeting? Because we have on the 14th the meeting for the city council. When is the other one? So
June 11th.
June 11th.
So what is the
So-
date of the next, the 13th?
We're seeing, you propose the 15th. I will be out from the 14th to the 17th. So if it could be before the 14th,
So is
I
the
will definitely do
13th
it.
good?
Does it work for
It
you?
works for me.
The 13th?
Yeah.
Does it work for you?
Okay,
Yep.
all right, that's good.
For the 13th?
May.
And
May.
it's important that you present the things to the council so that they agree.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I won't be that day on the 14th, but we are not planning to present it on the 14th. We're
that-
planning to go on June when we
Yeah.
have something more.
The
Right,
13th is an
right.
internal discussion
We'll
to
have
see what we.
discussions and you'll know what to ask
Yeah.
for in the council that
Yeah.
they have to agree on that we want, that's important to
Yeah,
us.
so we'll be very well prepared after a month So we won't do it right now, so we will do it on June. But on the 13th, we will meet, and with the information that Joel will bring us, we can discuss those specific things, and we can think about the next steps on those matters. Does it sound good?
Yes.
I'll probably
let
get a
me-
list for you guys of all the current activities and what's
Let
in the
me,
pipeline, so you have everything to be well informed.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a question. When you go to the park with your child now, because I don't have little ones, uh, is there a person there that oversees
Yeah.
at every park?
Yeah, at School Park and at the 98th, yes. The others park, Todd Lodge, and the one at the 92nd, no.
Because
Only at
it's
two parks.
important, you know, if one child goes to pick on another or pushes or does something bad, that there is somebody that oversees this and can stop it. I think it's important that there always be a person in the park that can oversee little children. I'm not talking about big children, I'm talking about little children.
Yeah, well, they should be with the parents first,
Yes,
right? But,
We
yes,
do-
but I'm talking like 10, 11, 12, they're not
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
with their parent.
and
The parent dropped them off at the park.
Nowadays, the way it works, the patrols at the park, they cannot interfere. So they just overlook the park, but they cannot stop any fight or anything. Because at the 98th, you have the big kids
I
playing
know.
soccer. So, and then you have like the
Yeah,
babies,
kid and the babies.
on
I
the
know,
playground.
I
and
know, and then you have the dogs on the side.
That park is not being used at all. And that was going to be another question. So the scope of this committee is gonna be like kids activities and parks, and then it's gonna include like dogs parks and
yes, and the seniors activities and
seniors,
all of that.
okay.
Yes, and it includes like everything that is with recreation related.
Yeah, recreation, because, and just to vocalize this, and I do think it is very important regarding consideration for children, for the elderly, but we have representation of a whole community of people too, just in terms of the grounds, how are we servicing them? So in terms of a remit of what we should be looking at, I think, and in this document that we were given at this meeting, I think does a nice job of outlining the scope. In terms of the facilities, I think that there's just kind of a matter-of-fact approach to the facilities, and then the programming, and the programming of which applies to all.
Sounds good. So I think that we're good for today. Okay, just
Will the
Go ahead.
Wednesday meeting be at 6 p.m.?
I think it will be at 6 p.m. sharp.
Okay.
Sharp. Yeah, please.
Well, I'm just writing it down, so I
We
have
can
it.
we can put it at 6:30, so we give
No,
time.
no, you know
Let's
what
put
I
it at
mean.
5.
I mean, will it be an evening meeting?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't mean it had to start
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
What would you like,
To start, since you're brand new,
Yes.
Yvonne will hand you the papers. I signed it if I want to talk at the end of your
Yeah, of course.
conversation. And you have at the end here discussion. So you have
Okay.
to look and see if there are papers of anyone who wants to speak
Yeah.
and some who are there. So
Fr-
I'm speaking.
Right.
Okay, good.
Fran, Fran, I'm
What?
gonna interrupt you. Fran, one second. The Children's Trust gets out at 6.
You're right.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been trying to work with
Oh,
Roberto and IT,
So
how to
yeah.
handle it. Can we push it up a little bit so I can have Roberto time? I can get the kids out and Roberto.
6:30?
6:30 or 7?
Roberto, what's good for 7 o'clock then?
Well, let's do it at 7. Can
7
you do
o'clock,
it at 7?
please.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, so let's do it at 7.
Well, they'll announce it, right?
Okay, yes, Tuesday, and everyone can come to that meeting, right? So, for example, in cases,
Tuesday the 13th, May 13th at 7 o'clock.
so all of the people that is interested in coming and discussing or listening to this conversation can, come. One question,
Open meeting, no Zoom.
yeah, and I guess that kind of information we can put in the chat, right? Like, hey, there's this meeting, you're invited to participate. It's open, right? Okay, good. Just to put it in there for the people,
Now, are
just,
we allowed to public that on the
You,
chat?
according to Joe, you can put in, there's a meeting at this time if you want to attend, come.
Yeah.
Can't discuss what we talked
What we
about.
are
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay, okay,
Gotcha.
so we will open the,
Yeah.
this is for the people to participate. People love to talk, but they don't participate. So we will love people participating.
They'll come,
So thank you.
now that we know you're here,
That's perfect.
but I come anyways.
Thank you.
Okay, my name's Frances Newhut, and
Frances.
I'm at 1060 King Concourse. Before I start, you mentioned the kayak and the dog park, and you want to be involved. And I feel the same way. And they do have the design review committee. And maybe you could possibly, I think it would be more effective if you can get them involved with these designs and you participate with them rather than the council. But that's my opinion. Because we did have issues when the other parks were built with the handicapped chair and all this other. I think that you would be a very good service to them as well with the input of these parks. Okay, but what I'm really here for is my grandchildren, because I participate, or I try to, and around the town. And unfortunately, it's not positive things I'm going to talk about. And one of them, and Joel's here now, is this program with the educational program that he has here. When I come here, it is so crowded. I mean, I've never seen it this crowded in our community. I mean, we have a lot of children, and I personally don't think it's accommodating the Bay Harbor community here. I think we have a lot of outsiders. They do not allow us into their programs. I can't go swimming I can't take them to the Surfside pool. I have to go all the way over to Country Day. I think that we have to put our foot down and think about our children, and that's why I'm here. I'm going to talk about
Well,
our children.
can't we have them show identification that they live in Bay Harbor?
No.
They don't allow it.
No,
Because that
we
is
cannot.
founded by this in Miami. This
No, because of the school.
no,
Right.
and this
But
is
for the
it's
park,
like
yeah.
for the children.
Well, my
trust.
children used to go.
It's-
Now it's my grandchildren. I can't take them there. And even if you have a pool, it's always nice to be where the kids are. They go to school here. They don't go in their backyard. And they want to see them at their friends. And a lot of them are in Surfside, or a lot of kids. That's the first thing. The second, so getting back to these educational programs and being in here, there are a lot of people that aren't necessarily Bay Harbor children.
Right.
And my biggest complaint is, and I said this to Joel many times, that this community center is not big enough for everyone. We have a lot of programs going on here besides the educational. The church, which is a mixed use, and that's our proper, that's a mixed use, meaning they're supposed to share things with us, and I know they have programs there. And right now, it looks empty, and I don't see why they can't be nice and, let our children use those facilities over there. It's 90,000 square feet. There's a lot of classrooms in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's no reason why they can't share it with our town. I mean, they should be sharing with the town. Their programs are not just for their church. It's for our town because it's a mixed use. The other thing is,
Fran, we used to, when I was the mayor, we had Bay Surf, and we took turns. We did a program, Bal Harbor did a program, Surfside Community Center did a program. I don't know why that can't be done now. Bal Harbor was interested, but Surfside has refused. So
Well, for
this
Joel's
has been the
programs.
problem, where Surfside, they'll come to our things, but they won't do anything for us.
nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
I know.
It's a disgrace what they have not done for us, which really upsets me. The other thing is,
But we can apply for their programs because I know
Yeah, but
kids
it's-
doing, it's a different price.
no, but Joel's programs are through the Children's Trust. The Children's Trust is paid for as a
Well,
program.
it's a county.
It's the county. So the county, I'm hoping with Joel.
Miami-Dade County.
Or Miami-Dade,
Miami-Dade.
since
Right.
this is too small an area, if he can talk to them of allowing us to have the program over at the church, and not necessarily a Christian church, you know, it's a program for all our children here. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
for sure.
Well, our town mayor now, Isaac Salver, was head of the Children's Trust for the county, and maybe this can be brought up at one of our meetings.
Okay, well, we got to be careful with religions here. No offense to anyone. The other thing I wanted to bring up,
As a matter of procedure, the public has 2 minutes to come
2
in,
minutes each.
finish
Okay.
up to the chair.
okay. I'll
I
talk
don't hear
quickly.
you.
Well, you don't have a clock.
It just started, it just ring, but you can keep, as you're
Okay,
the only one in here, you can just,
Okay,
you
well,
can
and
keep
then-
talking.
I'm sorry. The other thing that really just, this is the most important thing. Okay, I took my children, my grandchildren, it was a little late, you know, we went to Mr. 01 over there, and after, they wanted to come play on the playground, because it doesn't close till 8 or 9 o'clock, whatever. So I took them there, and it is so dark, just walking here, there are no sidewalks, okay?
Yeah.
So I have to be careful on that corner street over there when, what is it, East Bay Harbor Drive, and then you cross it.
Yeah.
I have to basically, and they're kids, they're 8 years old. I don't have to hold their hand to cross the street anymore. They think they can walk across. I said, no, you have to wait, and we got to cross together because the lights are not good there. And there's no sidewalk, and it's crowded because the cars keep speeding all
Yeah.
different. So that was the first danger. Then I cross the street and go into the park. I say, okay, it's, you know, you have the gate and everything, you feel you're so safe, let them
Which
run
part
around.
we're talking about?
The one
school.
across the street.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so I turn my face for 1 minute, and I have one that's a little one, a 5-year-old. I couldn't find her. I couldn't find any of them. It was so dark, I couldn't see. I was panicking and asking all the kids, the older kids, did you see this one? Did you? I couldn't find them. I was shaking, and then finally, someone said, I think they're over there. There was a park or something all the way in the back, and they were hiding back. They were playing, I shouldn't say hiding, they were playing in a park. There's a little park in the back. There are no lights there.
Yeah.
There are no lights. I was in a panic. So they need lights at that school. And this has been going on for a couple of years now because your chairman of the Parks and Rec for years has been complaining about the broken lights over there. So we do need the
So
floodlights.
do they have the lights, but they're broken, or they don't
They're
have
broke and
lights
they-
whatsoever?
Well, if you hear someone complain.
Some are broken, and
Some
there's
work.
just not enough lights all
we need a
around.
on a
That's
flood
the
light
thing.
guy.
You
There are
need
not
to
enough lights.
You
Put
need a
more
flood-
light.
You know the ones they just
around.
put in Surfside's park?
There's
They were
not
supposed to
enough
floodlight.
In fact,
bulbs
the
to
ones
brighten
that
the
they-
place.
We
famous
should have
ones,
only
That's what we
one
want.
person speaking at a time, so, so we can be on the same
Okay.
page.
But one more thing before I go, because I went to the police station now 3 times. I have also complained to the council, and this to me is outrageous. Are these motor scootered, what are they? They're not really motorcycles, they're
Yeah, they're
scooters with
scooters.
motors. I have seen 8-year-old kids,
Oh, yeah.
okay, speeding down.
We all saw it.
Yeah, we all
I
suffer
went
that.
and complained about that because those kids are 8 years older. I've even seen some with younger kids on the back of them. Okay, and they said, "Oh, well, we just spoke to one of these politicians. I don't know," and this is what they said: yield to pedestrians on sidewalks with a maximum speed of 15 miles an hour. They have to eliminate them from the sidewalks. They're running us over, and it's not just me; it's everyone. They're not allowed to be on the Kane Concourse because that's your business district and there's
Yeah.
people, well, there used to be people there. And now it's all, and it's not just the children, it's the grown-ups on those things, everyone. They're on the sidewalks because that's the safest place to be. And they're riding bicycles, these motor scooters, on these sidewalks because we don't have sidewalks. Something needs to be addressed because this is horrible, and nobody's doing anything, and nobody wants to be held accountable on the council, so.
I heard the last time that they were talking about just eliminating the use of
I heard
of
that too,
the,
but, and I yelled at him
of the
for doing that.
scooters in the city, and but I
on the-
heard
on the
also that is
bridges.
something that is not, you know,
So one thing I would just comment on, because I hear you.
Okay,
I do think some of these things in terms of bodies that can best address them. There's probably a combination of whether it's the town council, state legislature, in terms of regulating some of these things. So finding out how we can resolve some of these issues, I think, is part of the question here. Not saying that this is a formal recommendation, but one way of a committee like Parks and Recreation, which broadly speaking has, again, the remit of facilities, programming, if we were to make, like, if someone was to make a recommendation to install cobblestone on the sidewalks, so it's unappealing for someone to ride a scooter on it, but then it also goes towards making the town more aesthetically charming, maybe that's a way of doing it. So I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Or
we,
having-
we can make formal recommendations in terms of like like law enforcement or laws, but
But
within
we've already
facilities,
gone
maybe.
that route, and that's why I'm so happy that
Have speed
you have.
bumps.
I'm basically coming to you because I went to everybody else, and they're, like you said, have to go through all this other stuff. But we're dealing with our children that are facing it now, and we've had accidents already. I don't know if you know some of them, but there have been, and we're not hearing them.
Yeah, I think that the one of the hardest part, and I feel it personally, is that you don't have sidewalks. So you have people walking where the bicycles go, where the scooters go, wherever. So it's
And we
like
have a lot
and
of
then the
cars
cars
now.
go,
Construction cars.
the construction. That is so scary. The other day, my kid took her scooter, and she escaped because she was angry. She's a 6-year-old, and she was passing so fast in front of all. I was just praying. I was just like, I hope that a bus don't
I
come
do
and hit
think,
her.
as an example, and I know that we have these green aisles versus the actual sidewalks, one could make a statement claiming that a sidewalk is a leisure and recreation activity because it enables people to walk and enjoy the community. And so we could make a
Yeah.
formal recommendation. Now, again, how that gets implemented by the town, because that's budgeting, it's a construction project.
Yeah.
But a formal request from a committee like
Yeah.
this to then put that on consideration so that they can then start to plan accordingly are things to consider. I think for us, especially planning for our next meeting, is what do we think in terms of the priorities we want to
Yeah.
focus on, and
Yeah.
just kind of,
Great.
Focus on the priorities.
Yeah.
We have a lot,
Priorities for
a lot,
safety.
Yeah.
on the plate already.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that we can do like
Stay
two,
focused, please.
yeah, we can do like two things at a time. So we
Yeah.
just so we can be laser focused on something until we achieve it, and then we go to the next one. So
Yeah,
when we try to just
priorities for safety for children and adults.
yeah, of course, of course. Okay.
I just want to add, if we can do something like sort of a forum to get some of these kids together and see what they want and see what their ideas are, so we can incorporate that into our future agenda. So hear the voices of the children.
That's
that make-
beautiful. I think we could work with you, Joe, with that you have so many children who lives here in the island, and make like a kind of a focus group, with them, and ask them, what would you like? Or just to have, and I think it's an amazing idea because it's for them, it's for us, and also with the seniors, like what the seniors think. So have a couple of, like the focus group and sit down and listening to what do they want. So that's democracy, right?
Well, I think we could get the school involved and do something that I did many years ago, have an art walk and have all the children in the school create artwork and have it in the stores, in the front windows of all the stores, and we can walk up and down, see all the artwork of the children. And if we go into some of the stores, they can serve like little hors d'oeuvres and wine. This is something that I did many years ago. This is over 20 years ago, so nobody will remember. But if we could do something like that, that includes all of our children and their artistic abilities, and then have everybody go up and down and see it all, I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, we had also the art festival at
I was
school.
thinking
That was
about that, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was great. So
And there's also for next year the art, the festival in the street. Who could, they are
they are
in the
planning
air.
on
They're
close the street
yeah,
so we
Right,
can
but
have
this
their
would just be the children
just the
from the
children.
just the
school.
children. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was
Right,
just the
in all the
children.
windows of the stores, and we could walk up and down
That's sweet.
and stop in some of the stores that have the artwork for little hors d'oeuvres and something. I think it would be nice and we could all be walking together up and
Mhm.
down the street and see all the things that the children do.
I would like to recap because we have like doing a
And that
brainstorming here.
includes adults and children.
And also
Let's recap a little bit. I think for next meeting, we will be talking about budget. We will be talking about initiatives. Maybe we can take the input. We made a poll at the community chat last year, so we got a lot of input in terms of activities and sports. Then, Joel, you're going to bring the information you already have in terms of initiatives as well.
Yes.
And in terms of parks, I think it's going to be good to understand the improvements we can have, the layout, I'm sorry, the layout for Kayaki Park,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to understand what kind of improvement we can have from the 98th Street Park. So we were talking about that the dogs park is
Yeah.
not being used because there is a lot of mud over there. Then we have the 92nd Street Park that was renewed but seems not to be working. So maybe we can have that topic to start from scratch from there. The one at the 98th, most of the parents and the dog's parents were complaining about that small park next to the 98th. Is like had a lot of shadow.
The dogs park.
Yeah, the dogs park. No, because they have a lot of mud. So they were proposing if we can use that small dog parks for small kids and move the dogs park either
another
to the
place.
Kayaki Park or to the parking lot that is not being used at the 101, I think it is. So the one,
Right.
the 100, I don't recall the street. But again, we can see like,
I recommend
Yeah,
that you
well-
guys do go to the council meeting because all these issues are discussed there.
I know.
So it's good
I
to
know.
be there and understand what everybody's thinking and what they're doing currently.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if the council discusses something that we have discussed, to get up there and say the Parks and Rec Committee suggests what
Mhm.
you say and would like to confirm it. It sounds very impressive because it's like a whole committee of hundreds of people.
Yeah, I will start from there. So I think we have like seven items to start
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah.
And just a piece of color commentary regarding the dog park. I don't have the specifics, but that took several years for completion. So even something like reallocating a particular park for another needs would probably go
Take
through
many years.
yeah multiple years.
Right.
I think the conversation today is very fruitful. The recommendation I would have is that we have a very clear sense of the priorities coming out of that with the expectation of maybe realistically one or two focal
Agree.
areas.
Agree.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that at a certain point we should make like to meet with the design review committee, the design committee, like because they know what they have, so we can just go ahead and talk with them. And well, we said that together we're stronger, right? So if we have another committee and we both are, pushing for the same thing, I think it could be something interesting. So, well, if it's everything, I just.
Because we do have they put the police boats now. If you go on the West Island before the bridge, okay, if you go over the bridge, on the left-hand side before you go over the bridge, they're gonna put the police, I think they did approve that, to put the police boat there now, and some
Yeah.
jet skis. But there's land to get to it. Why don't you suggest the dog park there? I mean, what is a dog park?
Yeah, I
So
know
they go over the dogs.
They're kicking us out.
I think
Just-
you're
just we
telling
have
us
to-
the meeting
Let's
is
put it in
over,
the,
the
let's put
lights
it
are
in the
going
call
off.
for next time.
Land is
Someone
commodity
just
here.
turn off the lights.
Someone is in
So
the-
it's like, just go away. Okay, so, well, we adjourned the meeting. Yeah.
Second.
I like the,
Yes.
if I may,
No, you-
I like the idea that Alex proposed to be focused on the priorities, but then going back to what you were saying, we're kind of maybe digest some of the ideas and then kind of, have a focal point. This is probably like the first meeting. So as we get more meetings go along, we can actually bridge and kind of go from inward to outward and so we can have a more of a stronger stance when we go before the city council. And I just also want to kind of circle back to what Linda was saying. One of the possible agenda is having the kids along with the merchants to showcase their artwork for the educational purposes. As Fran was indicating earlier, I think those may be some good avenues to look forward to. But I think some of the priorities, what's already in the pipeline, what Alice was kind of suggesting, and then what you were suggesting earlier, let's try to figure out what we can, maybe, having some good ideas and try to see if we can pinpoint that, first is the budget, whatnot. But anyway.
That's
Yeah.
our next meeting, good idea.
Yeah, we're going
Yeah.
to see the budget also for us, like trying to understand next time. And I think that we can go for the very urgent things, but
Right, right.
also the beautiful things that are small and easy to
Right.
do that make people happy. So it's like we can both work in both
Right,
ways.
that's
so-
why I said the artwork, because that includes the little ones and their parents and everybody to walk up and down and see all the goodies.
Yeah,
I
that's
just want to
beautiful.
make sure is that if I'm clear, that among the committee, can we are allowed to talk among ourselves in a group setting, or it has to be more of a...
No.
No, I
No,
think
no.
that it has to be
Even if,
public, right?
within the
Th-
committee.
This right here is the forum
This
for.
is a public
yeah.
setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we need to talk about that.
In
So it's
public.
important, what we can do is like if we have any specific ideas,
Right.
as you talked before, is if we have a gala or whatever, we can
Right.
just come with the idea already, done, so we can just talk in here and say, hey, I have this idea, let's talk about it. So,
Right.
And I think you can send it to Yvonne to include it in the next.
yeah, in the agenda,
Okay.
so we can talk about that. Yeah. Okay, good. I think that we're ready to
Yeah.
adjourn.
I think the
Well,
meeting was terrific and
yeah.
congratulations. I think we all have some wonderful ideas and I can't wait to hear all of them. And if we get some accomplished and the council approves, then we are terrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.